Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever in the world you might be watching. This video will demonstrate, explain and teach the 6 new functions in Excel 2019. Let's examine the data that we're going to be using. Each of the students has been granted a particular mark depending on an examination result. Depending upon that mark, we're going to use the new function MINIFS to show whether the grading will be fail, pass, credit or distinction depending upon the result range that we see here. Less than 50, less than 70, less than 90 and less than or equal to 100. They will also be grouped depending upon their grading. If they failed, they'll be placed into group 1. If they passed, they'll be placed into group 2. Group 3 for credit and group 4 for distinction. So let's look at how the new MINIFS function works. I've shown the formula down here for ease of viewing, but I've entered the first 2 results up here in columns H and I. So let's look at the first one where it says pass. Why does it say pass? Because the result is not less than 50, but it is less than 70. Therefore, it will show the word pass. So when we look at the way the formula is constructed, it's quite simple now. There is no embedded if statements. There would have been 4 in the old if statement, but ifs does away with that. So we look at it and it says if G7 is less than 50, show the word fail. If that's not the case, move on to the next test. Is G7 less than 70? Yes, it is. It's 57. Therefore, show the word pass. If G7 is less than 90, show the word credit. So in this particular result, the mark is not less than 90, it is 90. Therefore, it moves on to look at the last argument, which says if G7 is less than or equal to 100, show the word distinction. So all we're going to do now is to autofill down, and there we see all of our results. And we can test any particular cell. Let's look at you and him. He got 32, and therefore he fulfilled the first test, which was if G15, that's the cell that result is in, then show the word fail. And that's exactly what it did. We can now look at the grouping. And what I've done, I have already put the formula in this particular cell. And we're going to test if G7 is less than 50, show the number 1. That is, it's a fail. If it's number 1, if it's a pass, show the number 2. Because it says if G7 is less than 70, it's the same test as the result, show the number 2. If G7 less than 90, show 3. And if G7 less than or equal to 100, show the number 4. So all we have to do now is to autofill that formula down, and there are all of my groups. So the ifs statement has avoided the use of nested if, which can become very unwieldy where you have a number of tests that need to be made. It's very, very simple to use now, and these formulas down here for ease of viewing can be studied. This would be a good time to pause the video so you can have a look at how the formulas work. Now it's time to look at the second of the new functions, MAXIFS. This replaces the old MAX function where I could check for the highest number in a group of cells. The MAXIFS allows me to check not only for the highest number, but subject to a particular criteria. In this case, it will be the group. So my formula here is MAXIFS G7 down to G22, comma, and then look in the group for the group number that we have here in J9. So I've referred to that particular cell here in the formula. So when I click on here and then look up in the formula bar, that's exactly the formula that I have typed up there. So if I change this number, for example, to 3, it will find the highest number in the 3 group, which is 87, which is UZ in group 3. So it's quite simple to use. You can have more than one criteria. In this case, I've just limited that to the F22 criteria. Let's check one other just to see how it works. Look in group 2 for the highest number. It's number 58, which is this number down here. The third of the new functions that we'll look at is MINIFS. MINIFS works in exactly the same way as MAXIFS, except that it finds the lowest number in a particular group. So the formula is exactly the same as MAXIFS, except MINIFS, as I mentioned, finds the lowest number. So if I want to find the lowest mark in group number 1, I simply type in number 1 there and it will show me 32, which is the number here. Let's just check the lowest number in group number 4, for example. And the lowest number is 90, which is milli vanilli. So very simple to use. MAXIFS and MINIFS are virtual twins in the formulas. The fourth new function is a text function called Concat. It's similar to the old concatenate function, but what it does, it joins groups of cells and shows me the result subject to the formula concat E7 to H7, but disregards any empty cells. So in this case, E7 to H7 shows me jackknife 57 pass with no delimiters, no spaces between the results. This function could be handy if you were wanting to identify a particular part number in a department and perhaps a description of that particular part. The fifth new function is another text function called TEXTJOIN. This is a new one, and what TEXTJOIN does, it enables me to add a delimiter between the results from the cells. So my formula is TEXTJOIN, and I've added 2 full stops as a delimiter. You can put anything you want in there, of course. 1 full stop, commas, etc. I've also used the word true, which disregards any empty cells. So my formula now here in this particular cell is TEXTJOIN, 2 full stops, true, E7, F7, G7 and H7 there, and when I press enter, there I see my result. Jackknife, no showing of the empty cell because I use the word true, 57 and the word pass, delimited by the 2 full stops that I had in the formula. So nice and easy to use. I'll autofill that down so that I can see the results of all of my students. The last of our new functions is the switch function. We use the switch function to convert a list of values to return a corresponding result. In other words, in the formula, I've said look in H7, and if that is the number 1, show the word fail. If it's number 2, show the word pass. If it's number 3, show the word credit, or number 4, show distinction. So when I look up here in the formula bar, there I see that is the formula. Let's autofill that down. And there I see that Excel follows my instructions in the formula. So there are the 6 new functions in Excel 2019. They're very, very handy, particularly the if function, the ifs function, which removes the necessity to enter nested if functions, which can be very, very messy. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe unless you've already done so, and you might like to comment, and a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.